Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
Something having the property of being analogous to something else. Duplicate or match. An imaginary line around the Earth parallel to the equator. Make or place parallel to something. They paralleled the ditch to the highway. Being everywhere equidistant and not intersecting. Parallel lines never converge. Be parallel to. Their roles are paralleled by ours. Mathematics. One of a set of parallel geometric figures, parallel lines or planes. Parallels never meet. Of or relating to the simultaneous performance of multiple operations. Parallel processing. Something having the property of being analogous to something else. Of a circuit or device having an output that is proportional to the input. Analog device. Something having the property of being analogous to something else. Of a circuit or device having an output that is proportional to the input. Analog device. Being two identical. A copy that corresponds to an original exactly. He made a duplicate for the files. Duplicate or match. Make or do or perform again. Increase twofold. Something additional of the same kind. Identically copied from an original. A duplicate key. Make a duplicate or duplicates of. Could you please duplicate this letter for me? Being two identical. A duplicate copy. Astrology. A person who is born while the sun is in Gemini. Duplicate or match. The polished surface twinned his face and chest in reverse. A waterfall in the Snake River in southern Idaho. Bring two objects, ideas, or people together. Either of two offspring born at the same time from the same pregnancy. Give birth to twins. Grow as twins. Twin crystals. An imaginary line around the Earth parallel to the equator. Freedom from normal restraints in conduct. Allowed his children considerable latitude in how they spent their money. Scope for freedom of e.g. action or thought. Freedom from restriction. The angular distance between an imaginary line around a heavenly body parallel to its equator and the equator itself. An imaginary line around the Earth parallel to the equator. An imaginary line around the Earth parallel to the equator. Make or place parallel to something. Adjust the line of sight of an optical instrument. Of lines, planes, or surfaces, never meeting or crossing. Of lines, planes, or surfaces, never meeting or crossing. Occurring with or following as a consequence. Collateral target damage from a bombing run. Descended from a common ancestor but through different lines. Cousins or collateral relatives. Serving to support or corroborate. Collateral evidence. Additional but secondary, auxiliary. A security pledged for the repayment of a loan. Situated or running side by side. Collateral ridges of mountains. especially of vectors, parallel but oppositely directed. Antiparallel vectors. Occurring or existing at the same time or having the same period or phase. Concerned with phenomena, especially language, at a particular period without considering historical antecedents. Synchronic linguistics. Of taxa, occurring in the same period of geological time. Occurring or existing at the same time or having the same period or phase. Occurring or existing at the same time or having the same period or phase. Recovery was synchronous with therapy. Digital communication. Pertaining to a transmission technique that requires a common clock signal, a timing reference, between the communicating devices in order to coordinate their transmissions. Having similarity in size, shape, and relative position of corresponding parts. Having similarity in size, shape, and relative position of corresponding parts. Exhibiting equivalence or correspondence among constituents of an entity or between different entities. Conforming in every respect. Able to be compared or worthy of comparison. A Gestalt principle of organization holding that, other things being equal parts of a stimulus field that are similar to each other tend to be perceived as belonging together as a unit. The quality of being similar. Be agreeable or acceptable to. Usually followed by to, or for, on the point of or strongly disposed. In no fit state to continue. A sudden uncontrollable attack. A fit of coughing. Fill, satisfy or meet a want or need or conscient restriction. Make correspond or harmonize. A sudden flurry of activity, often for no obvious reason. A fit of housecleaning. A display of bad temper. He had a fit. Be the right size or shape, fit correctly or as desired. This piece won't fit into the puzzle. Provide with something, usually for a specific purpose. Be compatible, similar or consistent, coincide in their characteristics. Conform to some shape or size. How does this shirt fit? Insert or adjust several objects or people. Can you fit the toy into the box? Make fit. Fit a dress. Meeting adequate standards for a purpose. A fit subject for discussion. Physically and mentally sound or healthy. Felt relaxed and fit after their holiday. The manner in which something fits. I admired the fit of her coat. Go together. Be in accord, be in agreement. We agreed on the terms of the settlement. Be compatible, similar or consistent, coincide in their characteristics. The two stories don't agree in many details. Achieve harmony of opinion, feeling, or purpose. No two of my colleagues would agree on whom to elect chairman. Be agreeable or suitable. White wine doesn't agree with me. Consent or assent to a condition, or agree to do something. She agreed to all my conditions. Show grammatical agreement. Subjects and verbs must always agree in English. An appraisal of the state of affairs. A check on its dependability under stress. Be verified or confirmed. Pass inspection. These stories don't check. Make cracks or chinks in. The heat checked the paint. A mark left after a small piece has been chopped or broken off of something. Examine so as to determine accuracy, quality, or condition. Check the brakes. Develop a child's or animal's behavior by instruction and practice, especially to teach self-control. Become fractured. Break or crack on the surface only. Lessen the intensity of temper. Hold in restraint. Hold or keep within limits. The state of inactivity following an interruption. Held them in check. Find out, learn, or determine with certainty, usually by making an inquiry or other effort. Slow the growth or development of. A written order directing a bank to pay money. He paid all his bills by check. Be careful or certain to do something. Make certain of something. Mark into squares or draw squares on. Draw crossed lines on. Additional proof that something that was believed, some fact or hypothesis or theory, is correct. A mark indicating that something has been noted or completed, etc. As he called the roll, he put a check mark by each student's name. The act of inspecting or verifying. They made a check of their equipment. Something immaterial that interferes with or delays action or progress. The bill in a restaurant. He asked the waiter for the check. Put a check mark on or near or next to. Please check each name on the list. Be compatible, similar or consistent. Coincide in their characteristics. The handwriting checks with the signature on the check. Hold back, as of a danger or an enemy. Check the expansion or influence of. The act of restraining power or action or limiting excess. Abandon the intended prey, turn, and pursue an inferior prey. Arrest the motion of something abruptly. He checked the flow of water by shutting off the main valve. A textile pattern of squares or crossed lines, resembling a checkerboard. She wore a skirt with checks. Block or impede, a player from the opposing team, in ice hockey. Chess, a direct attack on an opponent's king. Consign for shipment on a vehicle. Check your luggage before boarding. Decline to initiate betting. Hand over something to somebody as for temporary safekeeping. Make an examination or investigation. Check into the rumor. Obstructing an opponent in ice hockey. Place into check. He checked my kings. Stop for a moment, as if out of uncertainty or caution. She checked for an instant and missed a step. Stop in a chase, especially when scent is lost. The dog checked. Verify by consulting a source or authority. Check the spelling of this word. Write out a check on a bank account. Be equivalent or parallel, in mathematics. Take the place of or be parallel or equivalent to. Be compatible, similar or consistent. Coincide in their characteristics. Exchange messages. My Russian pen pal and I have been corresponding for several years. An aggressive remark directed at a person like a missile and intended to have a telling effect. Laugh at with contempt and derision. Be compatible, similar or consistent. coincide in their characteristics. An aggressive remark directed at a person like a missile and intended to have a telling effect. Shift from one side of the ship to the other. Be compatible, similar or consistent, coincide in their characteristics. A person who is of equal standing with another in a group. Set into opposition or rivalry. Let them match their best athletes against ours. Be equal to in quality or ability. Her persistence and ambition only matches that of her parents. Lighter, consisting of a thin piece of wood or cardboard tipped with combustible chemical, ignites with friction. He always carries matches to light his pipe. Make correspond or harmonize. A pair of people who live together. Make equal, uniform, corresponding, or matching. The company matched the discount policy of its competitors. Bring two objects, ideas, or people together. Matchmaker, can you match my daughter with a nice young man? A person regarded as a good matrimonial prospect. An exact duplicate. When a match is found, an entry is made in the notebook. Be compatible, similar or consistent, coincide in their characteristics. The suspect's fingerprints don't match those on the gun. A burning piece of wood or cardboard. If you drop a match in there, the whole place will explode. A formal contest in which two or more persons or teams compete. Be equal or harmonize. The two pieces match. Give or join in marriage. Provide funds complementary to. The company matched the employees' contributions. Something that resembles or harmonizes with. That tie makes a good match with your jacket. The score needed to win a match. Gain points in a game. Keep score, as in games. Determine the sum of. A bill for an amount due. A score in baseball made by a runner touching all four bases safely. Their first tally came in the third inning. The act of counting, reciting numbers in ascending order. Be compatible, similar or consistent, coincide in their characteristics. A course of reasoning aimed at demonstrating a truth or falsehood, the methodical process of logical reasoning. I can't follow your line of reasoning. A slight depression or fold in the smoothness of a surface. His face has many lines. Mechanical system in a factory whereby an article is conveyed through sites at which successive operations are performed on it. A connected series of events or actions or developments. Historians can only point out those lines for which evidence is available. The road consisting of railroad track and roadbed. A conceptual separation or distinction. There is a narrow line between sanity and insanity. A succession of notes forming a distinctive sequence. A conductor for transmitting electrical or optical signals or electric power. The principal activity in your life that you do to earn money. He's not in my line of business. Make a mark or lines on a surface. Draw a line. Often plural, a means of communication or access. Lines of communication were set up between the two firms. The descendants of one individual. His entire lineage has been warriors. Space for one line of print, 1 column wide and 1/14 inch deep, used to measure advertising. A short personal letter. Drop me a line when you get there. A telephone connection. Be in line with, form a line along. Trees line the riverbank. The maximum credit that a customer is allowed. A particular kind of product or merchandise. A nice line of shoes. A pipe used to transport liquids or gases. A pipeline runs from the wells to the seaport. A commercial organization serving as a common carrier. Acting in conformity. In line with. A formation of people or things one behind another. The line stretched clear around the corner. A formation of people or things one beside another. The line of soldiers advanced with their bayonets fixed. A fortified position, especially one marking the most forward position of troops. They attacked the enemy's line. A length, straight or curved, without breadth or thickness, the trace of a moving point. A mark that is long relative to its width. He drew a line on the chart. A single frequency, or very narrow band, of radiation in a spectrum. A spatial location defined by a real or imaginary unidimensional extent. Cover the interior of. Line the gloves. Fill plentifully. Line one's pockets. In games or sports, a mark indicating positions or bounds of the playing area. Mark with lines. Sorrow had lined his face. Persuasive but insincere talk that is usually intended to deceive or impress. Let me show you my etchings as a rather worn line. Reinforce with fabric. Lined books are more enduring. Something, as a cord or rope, that is long and thin and flexible. A washing line. Text consisting of a row of words written across a page or computer screen. The letter consisted of 3 short lines. Insert words into texts, often falsifying it thereby. Cause to change, make different, cause a transformation. The advent of the automobile may have altered the growth pattern of the city. Become different in some particular way, without permanently losing one's or its former characteristics or essence. Remove the ovaries of. Make an alteration to. This dress needs to be altered. Cause to change, make different, cause a transformation. Add a modifier to a constituent. Make less severe or harsh or extreme. Please modify this letter to make it more polite.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.